Maybe you can talk a bit about the nomination. What's your...
No, it was very funny because we were having lunch with the jury and we talked about awards and nominations, and the conclusion was it's not about awards, you know, because we were talking about, you know, moments in which we didn't get a nomination or didn't get an award. So we said, well, ultimately it's about something else, which is still true. But the truth is that, of course, we are always happy when it happens. So we just finished that conversation. I went back to my room because I had 10 minutes before we had to leave for the second film, and I was having a shower and thought, like, God, give me a break, because the telephone was ringing all the time. I thought, like, you know, give me these 10 minutes, and then that happened, which was very funny. And I went down, told the jury, and they were very happy for me. So tonight we're gonna have a glass or two.
And Stéphane Lebecki has also been...
Pardon?
Stéphane Lebecki has also been nominated.
Yes, yeah. Happy Days in Marrakesh.
And you're already working on the sequel for The Alienist, so can you tell us much about that?
Yeah, we will. We will go back in April, back to Budapest, and shoot The Angel of Darkness, which is the second book that Caleb Carr wrote. We're very happy to have Frank Pugliese as a new showrunner, the master behind House of Cards, who came on board, and I met him. He's an incredibly inspiring man, and it's going to be a different but exciting journey. And I became very close with Dakota and Luke. They're really beloved friends of mine since we shot The Alienist, and so I cannot wait to get back to work and, you know, start a new adventure with them.
And you're also working on My Zoe with British actors Gemma Arterton and Richard Armitage, and also with a female director, Julie Delpy. So can you tell us a bit about that and working with a female director?
It's an incredibly powerful film. I just watched it a couple of weeks ago because she finished it. She's a dear friend of mine. I've known Julie forever, and she is one of the most inspiring people I had the luck to meet in this profession. She's a multi-talent. She writes, she acts, she directs, she sometimes does the score, so I'm deeply impressed and bow my head. And now that I'm planning to direct my first film by the end of next year, I pay special attention to the work of directors. In that case especially, because she was not only directing but acting in it, which I also intend to do. So yeah, I'm just impressed by her talent, and hopefully you will see this film soon. As I said, it's almost finished, so let's see what happens with it. But I'm very proud, and it's the first time that I produced a film. So to be able to support Julie in that way also made me very proud.
Can you sorry?
I was saying is, like, it's your fourth collaboration. I mean, I think you might even be more closer to her than Richard Linklater.
Well, that I don't know, but yeah, we instantly liked each other. I mean, there's, I don't know, certain similarities because she's French, but then moved to the US and wanted to cross borders, and is a very open-minded and open soul. I am too, I guess. Yeah. We liked each other instantly when we met at the Berlinale, the Berlin Film Festival, years ago. And then I only had a little part in 2 Days in Paris. And we had dinner together. It's the first time I met her. And then by the end of the dinner, she said, "By the way, do you want to play a fairy which blows up a McDonald's restaurant? It's just one scene." I said, "Of course I will." It's a great pitch. And since then, we've been in touch. And again, I'm very glad that I could support her with this film, which is a very personal and tough one that means a lot to her.
And can you expand a bit on the film that you're preparing, that you're writing and directing?
No. Also, it's something very personal because it's my first film. I didn't want to choose a weight which might be too heavy and make a big film, a complicated film. So it's a contained film, talking about something that I really know well. And it is hopefully very funny. I think it's very funny, but it also has an incredible punch, and it will also be quite horrible to watch, hopefully, in a good way.
And what about being here in Marrakesh? What a wonderful city for a film festival to be in. What's been your experience of being on the jury?
It is an absolute privilege. When I got this call, I was in the supermarket with my son and got this call by a French number. I didn't know, and they were asking me to come over. I said, like, well, yeah, let me check my schedule. Yes, I'm free. It's been wonderful. The whole combination of being in a jury, in a lovely jury, with incredibly talented and inspiring people, being able to consume so much cinema all those days, future cinema, interesting choice with first time and second time directors, being able to experience these wonderful moments on stage for the tributes, the master classes, with the top level of world cinema, Scorsese and De Niro, Agnes Varda, Guillermo del Toro, and it's incredible. And then the cinematic city of Marrakesh itself, which it's my first time here. So yeah, it is a wonderful combination. I'll be very sad to leave on Sunday.
It's been almost 5 years since The Most Wanted Man came out. I just wonder so it'd be almost 5 years now since Philip Seymour Hoffman's passing. I was just wondering if you could talk a bit about how it was working with him.
I had such a small part, and Anton Corbijn, when he met me in London, said, there's not more to that part, so I'm a bit, he felt sorry. I said, well, no need to be sorry, because working with you, and especially to work with Philip Seymour Hoffman, was a no-brainer for me. He was and is my favorite actor of our times. So I couldn't say no, and I'm still very fond of this film. And now, talking about producing, this is exactly the German production company that I joined after Most Wanted Man. So Malte Grunert, my partner, was one of the producers on that film. And we still talk about Philip Seymour Hoffman a lot. I run a tapas bar in Berlin, and my most precious treasure is the guest book. And I'm so incredibly proud that he left some wonderful notes for me and enjoyed coming to my place. That is one of the most important awards that I got in my life.
And sorry.
Oh, sorry, go
Thinking of Captain America Civil War, what was your experience of being involved with that film? And obviously we lost Stan Lee not so long ago. What are your views on the impact he made on pop culture?
Yeah, well, he's an absolute mastermind. I mean, yeah, he's responsible for all that. I mean, filling the heads of so many children and adults for generations, and inspiring their fantasies and creating a universe, a whole universe, that goes back to him. So that was a terrible loss. And to me, making this film was like going to a Luna Park. Everything was bigger, and I felt like a 12-year-old boy arriving in Atlanta. I was deeply impressed. And it was very sweet that everybody involved, all the actors, but also the directors, didn't treat me like the new kid at school. So I wasn't just standing there on my own in the corner, but they embraced me. And that's what I also love about Kevin Feige and the casting decisions he makes, that he brings in people from completely different worlds and different movies and offers us these these wonderful parts. Was a challenge to play in something with a very different tone and a very different surrounding, and to believe yourself that you are that villain. I found it challenging, and I also admire the work that these superheroes do. It's definitely not easy. So it was a wonderful experience, yeah.
Is it important for you to balance kind of working on these huge budget things occasionally with also doing independent films?
Yeah, that's what keeps you alive and fresh, It's, the more diverse it is, I guess every actor would agree, and it's a constant fight. You must be given these opportunities. Again, that's why I was so happy that somebody like Kevin thought of me for that part, that Ron Howard thought of me to play in Rush, that Quentin Tarantino chose me, because if you grow up in Germany and start in Germany, it's difficult to, you know, to cross borders and to open doors. I always dreamt about that, because I grew up in a very multicultural environment with a Spanish mom and German father, French family, so I spoke different languages, and I was always dreaming of the opportunity to not be limited just to the German market, but to be able to, you know, to discover different film cultures, and so fortunately that happened.
Sorry, go on.
Oh, you go ahead.
What can you tell us about the prequel for Kingsman? So, you know, you got Charles Dance and
I cannot tell you anything. No, I'm too afraid of Matthew Vaughn, and no, I'm just thrilled that I'm part of it, because I love the script. I had so much fun reading it, and then I had a wonderful conversation with Matthew Vaughn, and met him the other day in London for preparation issues, and I'm very thrilled to join that Kingsman universe. I think it's going to be a hilarious experience as of February in London.
I don't want to age you, but you've been in this business for almost 3 decades.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's
that's a good thing
time
for
passes.
cinephiles. You know, I discovered you with Goodbye Lenin, and The Educators was a very, very important film in your filmography. What's more difficult now at this juncture in your as an actor? Is it receiving characters that actually existed historically, or that have lineage to real characters, or do you prefer characters that have a more blank slate, open slate, and where you can perhaps investigate their personas? Let's say, what do you prefer?
Both, actually. There's no preference. It just the character has to be appealing, and the script has to be appealing, and you notice it right away. Most often, I can feel it. You know, when I'm reading a script for the first time, and I don't put it away, I just read it in one go. I already quickly feel if it's something for me, something that interests me or not. Again, it's you always have to fight the cliches and the danger of being put in a box, and that happens to everyone. So coming from Germany, of course, sooner or later you will probably wear a Nazi uniform. And I talk to my Turkish friends or Arab friends who have to play terrorists. When I talk to my Latin American friends, actors friends, they tell me about, you know, them being pissed off that they always have to play drug dealers or drug lords. So to break out of that and to surprise the audience with different characters, different roles is not easy. To be seen as something different. So in the case of Inglourious Bastard, I was happy to put on a Nazi uniform, because it was just such a refreshing reinvention. I mean, this is the Tarantino mind telling the story of Adolf Hitler being killed in a cinema was just incredible. So I didn't think about it for a second. But what was good for me is that directors outside of Germany didn't have the prejudices, because Goodbye Lenin was a huge success for me, obviously, up until now. The little curse about it was that I was seen for a long time in Germany as the nicest guy in Germany. You know, the guy who helps older people to cross the street, and I had to sign cucumber glasses in supermarket. It became quite absurd. So for quite some time they always offered me these parts of being the nice guy, and then funnily the people from outside of Germany, and Tarantino got it right. Yes, I know you have this funny and not funny, that sweet face, but then in the end you're also an asshole. And that I thought, thank you, that's exactly it. And also Ron Howard offering me the part of Niki Lauda. I'm almost 100% sure that no director from Germany would have offered me the part. Because he's a rat, because he's difficult, because he's mean, because he can, you know. People wouldn't have seen that in me. There would have been other actors that probably would have gotten the part. And so even I was surprised, because I just had one meeting with Ron Howard, and even I didn't believe myself that I could play that part, because that was, before the preparation, and I thought like, oh, can I really do that? If I sorry to say that, fuck it up, then I can never go to Austria. I can never go to Vienna. So I felt this enormous pressure, and I was very surprised when, after the first meeting, Ron said, "Yeah, you're the man. You'll be able to play that part." And I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." And so to get that kind of confidence from someone, again, always came from abroad.
Yeah, I think it would have been not just Austria, but like every single F1 stop on the circuit.
Yeah, yeah,
For
exactly.
training for Nikki.
You're so good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
And you've played, a lot of parts in period films, and often they have a political bent. What do you think can be the value of cinema in educating people about history, or make, like with the Inglourious Basterds film, using satire to kind of make a point?
Yeah. It always interested me. History always did, because by understanding history, I understand who I am now and in which kind of world I'm living at. So it's all a result of, what happened before. So I always enjoy diving into different periods and learning so much about different chapters in world history. Also because in Berlin I'm surrounded by recent history that much, so I guess that might increase the interest in history if you live there
every single day.
yeah, and I think that does something to you, and sometimes I think it's almost, especially now, we're experiencing horrible things and going through some tough times, and not only in the US but in Europe, everywhere. It's almost our duty to make committed cinema with substance and content, politically, socially, etc. At least I feel that way, and that's why I also think that festivals like these are important, to hear the voices of these young filmmakers of the future generation of cinema, and to have that wide canvas, that whole picture of world cinema at the moment, and seeing films from so many different places, and to see how these young filmmakers cope with all the issues that are going on. And we watched some wonderful examples, results of that work, interesting insight, experiences of social, political situations around the world. So it's important to preserve that.
What are your thoughts on German cinema at the moment? I mean, from an outsider, it seems in pretty good health with Tony Erdmann.
Yeah, it came back. I mean, Tony Erdmann was, I was so happy for Maren Ade and her success internationally with Tony Erdmann, because it shows to the world that we can be funny sometimes. At least some of us, or she, and some others. So a different impression of what is a German film, that was very refreshing and strong. And yes, there's I can feel a vibrant energy in the movie industry. It went down a little bit. I was happy to start when times were pretty good, and then I had the impression that it went down again, and it always comes and goes in waves. And we always we're laughing in the jury. We always admire the French and the French culture, and I personally do too. And America, obviously, and so many other countries. And then you always seem to complain about what's going on in your own country. And if you widen your scope and travel and go to go to these things and talk to other filmmakers, then they say, "Oh, France, no, by the French, you know, no. You have like your pink glasses on, as we say in Germany, and you romanticize it and idealize it, but it's not that great." And so everybody's complaining. So it's always nice to hear from also you guys, journalists and film people in outside of Germany, that we are in pretty good shape. That's nice.
Well, hopefully you'll belong to the next wave with your.
Oh yeah, the wave will go back.
Dankeschön. Thank you.
Dankeschön.
Thank you.
Thank you
Dankeschön.
so much.
Thank you.